I'm Marcus Reed, and I'll never forget the evening I rolled up to my grandfather's hand-built cabin on Silverpine Lake, 12 miles outside Pine Ridge Estates, only to see the front door hanging like a broken jaw and Brenda Whitaker's kid sprawled across the couch like he owned the damn place. She thought sending her entitled spawn to reclaim community waters was a power move. What she didn't count on was every lie she'd ever told coming back to handcuff her whole fake kingdom in front of the entire neighborhood. Pine Ridge Estates sits in the high desert foothills of Colorado, where the mountains look postcard perfect, and the HOA signs promise civilized living. Brenda Whitaker ran that place like a mini dictatorship wrapped in pastel cardigans. She fined people for dandelions in xeriscape yards, banned flags on holidays because they were visually disruptive, and once wrote me up because my truck had too much character. My wife Rachel and I had escaped Denver's chaos for the quiet at the end of the cul-de-sac, but our real sanctuary was the cabin my grandpa built in '79. Cedar logs he felled himself, stone fireplace he mortared by hand, and a private slice of Silverpine Lake that county deeds said was ours. Period. No HOA bylaws reached that far. No clipboard could touch it, until Brenda decided distance meant weakness. It started small. One Saturday I caught her son Tyler kicking back on our dock, Bluetooth speaker blasting, cooler cracked open like it was his personal beach club. "Dude, Mom says the lake's shared amenity for all residents," he shrugged, not even standing up. I kept my voice even. "This is private property, son. Deeds from 1979. Time to pack it up." He smirked the same way his mother did at board meetings. "Karen says you're the one breaking rules." I let him walk that day. Mistake one. Next weekend it was worse. Him and two buddies, fishing poles in the water, cigarette butts flicked onto our stones. Rachel spotted the rappers first. "They're testing us," she muttered, already pulling out her phone to snap timestamps. We reinforced the locks, added trail cams under the eaves, and filed a quiet trespass report with the county sheriff. Brenda's fingerprints were all over the gossip. "The Reeds think they're special, that lake belongs to everyone." Lies travel faster in cul-de-sacs than anywhere else. The breaking point hit like a gut punch on a crisp October morning. We pulled up the gravel drive and the door was splintered, lock hanging by one screw. Inside smelled like Axe body spray and cheap energy drinks. Grandpa's old wool blanket was balled up and stained, drawers rifled, and Tyler's hoodie with the Pine Ridge logo sat folded on the kitchen table like a calling card. Rachel's jaw tightened. Breaking and entering. Game over. We were still photographing every muddy boot print when Brenda's voice cut across the yard like a siren. "My son has every right. The bylaws clearly state any adjacent waterway is a community asset." She marched up the slope, clipboard raised like a shield. I almost laughed. "Bylaws stop at your gate, Brenda. This cabin is outside your little fiefdom." Her eyes narrowed. "Implied access through shared viewshed. We've maintained the lake for years." Rachel stepped forward, voice ice. "Maintained? With what? The $87,000 in lake fees you've collected since 2021 while the water level drops and nobody's seen a single dredge barge." Brenda sniffed. "If you push this, the board will vote sanctions. You'll regret it." Then she did the dumbest thing yet. She dialed 911 right there on our porch, speaker on for the neighbors who'd started gathering. "Yes, officer, hostile resident threatening minors, blocking community access. Send someone now." She shot me a triumphant glare. "Let's see who the law actually sides with." 10 minutes later 2 sheriff cruisers rolled up, lights painting the pines red and blue. Brenda clasped her hands like a saint. "Thank God you're here, he's unstable." The lead deputy, a guy named Ruiz we'd known for years, looked from her to the splintered door. Before I could speak, Rachel disappeared inside for 30 seconds and stepped back out wearing her full county detective badge and sidearm, off-duty but unmistakable. The air went dead quiet. Brenda's mouth opened, closed, opened again. "Detective Reed," Deputy Ruiz nodded, respect instant. "Walk us through it." Rachel didn't raise her voice. She just pulled up the trail cam footage on her phone. Crystal clear 4K of Tyler prying the lock with a crowbar while laughing. "Mom said Karen owns this now, free game." Audio caught every word. Tyler's face drained white. Brenda lunged. "That's doctored. He's a minor." Ruiz didn't blink. "Son, you're 17. Old enough for cuffs." The click of the handcuffs echoed off the lake like a judge's gavel. Tyler started blubbering. Brenda screamed, "This is harassment. I'll have your badges." Ruiz stayed calm. "Ma'am, Your son just admitted on video he was told to break in. You're looking at accessory after the fact if you keep talking. The neighbors weren't whispering anymore. They were staring at Brenda like she'd grown horns. That should have been the end. It was only the beginning. Next morning our mailbox overflowed with bright orange violation notices. Unapproved dock color, excessive natural vegetation, failure to attend mandatory board meeting. Brenda had gone nuclear, weaponizing every petty rule she'd ever invented. Rachel just smiled that dangerous half-smile and started a new binder. Every sheet she sends is another nail in her coffin. I decided to play her game. I filed my own complaint. Her enormous Pine Ridge Welcomes Responsible Neighbors sign violated the exact height limit she'd enforced on everyone else. The board meeting where they tried to fine me $500? I showed up with printed bylaws and asked why her own yard had the only green lawn in a desert, water usage triple the limit. The room snickered. Brenda's face turned the color of her violation forms. But the real avalanche hit in township court. Brenda sued us for obstruction of community standards. She strutted in with her 2 remaining board lapdogs, clipboard gleaming. Rachel and I walked in with 4 binders and a USB of every video, every financial record we'd quietly obtained through public records requests. When the judge asked for proof the HOA owned even 1 drop of Silverpine Lake, Brenda stammered. Historical use. Implied rights. The judge leaned forward. Deeds or get out. Rachel stood. Your Honor, not only do we have the 1979 deed and surveys, but bank records show the HOA has charged every homeowner $1,200 a year for lake maintenance. That never happened. No contracts, no receipts, just transfers to an account only Brenda and her treasurer control. Gasps rippled. One neighbor stood up shaking. That's my retirement money you stole. The gavel cracked. Case dismissed. I'm referring this to the DA for fraud, embezzlement, and misuse of nonprofit funds. Brenda's clipboard clattered to the floor. Her board members resigned on the spot, badges hitting the table like dominoes. Within a week the county audit dropped like a bomb. $142,000 missing, funneled into Brenda's consulting fees and her son's college fund. News vans lined the gates. At the emergency HOA meeting the crowd didn't boo, they roared. Refund every dime. An elderly vet waved his violation notices. You fined me $800 for an American flag on Veterans Day while you pocketed lake money that doesn't exist. Brenda tried one last speech. I only ever wanted what was best for the community. Her voice cracked when half the room laughed out loud. By midnight the board voted her out 100%. 2 months later the DA filed charges. Brenda sold her house at a loss and disappeared to some retirement community in Arizona, probably already starting a new clipboard empire. Silverpine Lake is quiet again. Rachel and I added solar lights and a proper gate, not out of fear but as a statement. Neighbors now wave when they drive by on their way to the public access point we voluntarily opened, on our terms with clear rules posted. No more lies. No more fines for breathing. The cabin stands exactly as Grandpa left it, logs still warm from the sun, water lapping the dock he built. Sometimes I sit there at dusk and think about how Brenda spent years tightening the noose on everyone else, only to hang herself with the exact same rope. So here's the question that keeps me up at night, folks. True or false? Was Brenda Whitaker really just protecting the community? Or was she the biggest trespasser of all, stealing peace, money, and truth while hiding behind bylaws she wrote herself? Who actually got karma slapped harder? The guy defending his grandfather's legacy, or the queen who thought rules only applied to everyone else? Drop your verdict in the comments. I read every single one. Because the next time an HOA Karen comes for what's yours, remember, the clipboard always loses when the deed fights back.